Hello, everybody, and welcome to Joker's Wildside Review. Today, we got a special episode of the top 10 wrestlers of the year. Uh, we've had quite a crazy year, a lot of wrestlers to go through. So let's start off with a few honorable mentions. The first one I have is Damian Priest, World Heavyweight Champion for part of the year. Um, a few others, Braun Breaker, who has had a decent IC title match, and not to mention anything he does, the physicality he puts into it, fucking great. Sami Zayn dethroning Gunther as the Intercontinental Champion WrestleMania, and had a good year besides that. Dominic Mysterio last year probably the most improved. I think in our list he was one of the top two, I believe. Uh, and he's had a great year. A little falling on the wayside with Rhea and Liv, but still part of that. A few other ones here. Tiffy Stratton, just her come up to the main event has been great. I can't wait to see what she does when she finally cashes in and wins the title. CM Punk, uh, I mean, personal feelings aside of his personal stuff and outside the ring, or at least in the business part, he's done a great job. He's always having people support. Anything he says is very um, polarizing and have people on the edge of their seats. He was injured about half the year, but he still, thanks to some of Drew McIntyre con- continuing that rivalry, still memorable year and great matches. Okada, I think his new character here with AEW is very funny, but he could still go in the ring. So very much like it. I think this year he'll go back a little bit to the Rainmaker one. Rhea Ripley, she did lose a title and injured a good amount of the year, so I got to put her off the list, in my opinion. And finally, he was very, very close of getting into the top 10, but um, there were so many great wrestlers, so he's right on the cusp. And if you put him on him, I don't blame you. But it's Takeshita. His run with AEW as the international champion has been great. He's got put banger after banger. His run into G1 was fucking amazing. Besides the winner, Zack Sabre Jr., I think he was the MVP. He's had great matches all over the world too. So uh, he's on the cusp, but I don't blame you if you put him on him. Also, remember that these are my opinions. Uh, if you have a different one, let me know in the comments. Tell me your top 10 if you agree, disagree with me. Okay. Let's start off now with the 10th best wrestler of the year. It is, in my opinion, Io Sky. She was champion part of the year to WrestleMania. Uh, but that match with Bailey was uh, one of the top matches of the year for WWE. That reverse out of that was it Rosebud or whatever they call it. There was not a lot of room and a lot of room forever, so she pulled it off great. Not to mention, anytime she gets in the ring to do pretty much anything, she is gold in my opinion. So she's my number 10 star. And number 9, I have the Psycho Adam Page. I'm gonna start calling him that because since that rivalry he had with Swerve, you've seen that edginess come out, and you see it in his character work. You see he'll be calm, just give you a crazy look, and also act sporadic. Um, his matches are getting more and more physical. They were already, but more and more physical. They're the way he structured them is a little more to that physicality of it or to that unpredictability. And he has those for like hardcore matches, those death matches, the unsanctioned matches. Um, so freaking good. So, not to mention the segment he had of burning down the house, Sora's house, the childhood house. That picture when that he finally lights it, it's very cinematic, and even the promo as he's spreading out the the gasoline, it is not many have been done like that, and it's just the severity of it and what he's willing to do. to get into your skin and to get what he wants. It just got up another level, and I have to put him at number 9. He will be a champion again too. So Adam Page at 9. 8, I have Timeless Tony Storm. She had a little bit of a rough year in the beginning, time in the beginning in AEW, and then she transitioned, sorry, into this Timeless Tony Storm character. It took a bit, but she was the women champion for the better part of the year. Uh, Her work in the ring, her character work was amazing. Anytime the screen went black and white for her, I was there. I loved it. The feeling of it, she definitely dived into that character. A lot of people have been saying that's the best character work since probably The Undertaker. So I'm loving it. I loved it. Hopefully they bring it back in the future, but it's looking like that might not happen. But Tony Storm at number 8. Number 7, I got the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion and the winner of the G1, Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, this year, New Japan apart, he's had great matches all over. He had great matches with Brian Danielson. He has, I think he also did, excuse me, Osprey. And then his match for Takagi for that championship was great. His G1 Climax run was also amazing. So Zack Sabre Jr. at number 7. He could be a little higher, um, but he was mostly kept in New Japan and a few other little areas. So if he would have had more exposure, I think he would have been higher. But next year, I see him definitely taking over that Brian Danielson spot where he's kind of the technical master that goes everywhere. But at number 6 now, I have the world champion Gunther. Uh, I think I have him this low for a few reasons. One is obviously he was for him to ascend, he had to drop the IC title. I think they gave it to the wrong guy. Not that Sami Zayn is not a right guy, not a great wrestler, not an amazing character work. Um, Probably one of the still most underrated wrestlers. With the longevity of Gunther's reign and his dominance, I think that would have been a great spot to put someone like Braun Breaker to break him, win the title, and elevate immediately Braun Breaker into that possible next main eventer. Um, but also the world heavyweight run he's had has not been perfect or great. It's been good. He did lose. He has a few losses. Obviously, Sami Zayn. He did lose to um, Cody in Saudi Arabia, and then for King of the Ring, that spot where he won, but Randy's shoulder wasn't up was a bit of a asterisk. But he did make up for it with that great match with Randy later on. But this doubting himself lately has been bringing the ring not completely down, but some spots where it was hit and miss with those parts. So I have to put him down a little bit at number 6. At number 5, I have the WWE World Champion Cody Rhodes. I can't put him any higher because he's not in. He hasn't been in every single pay per view. He's been in a lot of them, and some matches have been great. Like the Roman Reigns one was great when he actually won it. That story leading up to WrestleMania was great with The Rock and stuff. But after that, he had a little bit of a lull. He did beat Gunther, and that's why I really put him above Gunther is that win. But there's been like he's had good matches all through the year, but I think there's something with his character, the fact that he's like a old school babyface like Hulk Hogan used to be, that it's not particularly my. I like a little edge, a little darkness, personally. Um, but still great. And it's the same thing that I have with Willow Nightingale in Most Improved slash Breakout Stars. Too goody two shoe. They do have their edge, but to me the way they're building them is too old school babyface, and it's not 100% my cup of tea. That's why Cody's number 5 above Gunther, but I don't think he escalated to be that top 4. At number 4 now, I have the one that retired this year, Brian Danielson. I mean, even in the beginning of the year, he had a lot of losses per his choice. Uh, but those matches were top tier, all of them. His matches with Like I said, Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay, he had great matches. Um, he had a Pac one, I believe a few in Dynamite. He also had a great match when he actually finally won the title against Swerve. Um, there's a little moment there I personally have an issue with, but that's just a little nitpicky part. But that's it was just that he got hit in one spot of the head and bleeded from the other, so it's kind of like eh. But regardless, still the best wrestler or one of the best wrestlers of in the world. He's at my number four. At number three, I have Drew McIntyre. Like I said with the CM Punk honorable mention is Drew McIntyre kept a rivalry alive with half of the party not being injured really, so he was carrying that rivalry. And his match at WrestleMania was good. Um, I didn't like the fact that they had to immediately take it off of him, but for the storyline that became the CM Punk storyline and the hatred towards each other, uh, it was done right. That Hell in a Cell match, that was brutal. The hit with the toolbox, apparently that spot was not 100% planned, or at least the bleeding. And then that spot where he took the Claymore, missed the Claymore onto the edge of the steps, that looked painful as hell. The strap match, he got beat the hell up. Decent match. Um, wasn't the greatest. I'm not a big fan of the strap match overall, especially touching the corners. I'm not gonna. Seems like it's a video game thing, but whatever. Still good match. Uh, can't wait. He should be champion again soon. But Drew McIntyre at my number three. At my number two, I have whose house? Swerve's house. He definitely broke out this year. Last year in the ending, they were starting to sizzle out with that. But Swerve proved this year that he is a main event star, that he is a world championship contender always, with his segments and work with Adam Page, that cycle matches they've had, the work with what was it, Blood and Guts. It was a little cinematic, but great work. Um, his matches with Samoa Joe, the matches he had also with Will Ospreay, that was a fucking amazing match. Um, the match he had with Bryan Danielson when he lost the title was great. The way he was setting up, it was character work really a lot of the time, but he was setting up Daniel to be seen by his family so he could see the family as he's getting an ass whooping. Magical, very very good. Those little touches, love it. Um, so he's my number two. Was a champion for most of the year or part of the year at least. So he's at my number two, and my number one. We've mentioned him quite a bit with a few other wrestlers that he's had amazing matches, and that's just a few of them. He's had great matches with Pac. He has great matches with Okada at World's End. With Kyle Fletcher, he had quite a few of them. He had great matches with Bryan Danielson, with Zack Sabre Jr., with I mean anybody and everybody. The tag match they had with the Young Bucks was great. Um, the match they had him, Takeshita, and Ricochet, fucking great. Um, so to me, Will Ospreay is my number one. Um, I mean, what can I say that hasn't been said already? He is the new, pretty much the new best wrestler in the world, and is gonna be for the net foreseeable future. Um, I mean, any match he has is gonna be fucking great. I still haven't seen any match that's bad from him. The worst I seen I think was a 4.2 this year, or 4.5, something like that, and that's during the whole year at 4.5. That's still a great match, a great fucking match. So he is my hands down number one wrestler of the year. Tell me, you guys you guys tell me, Jesus, speaking backwards there. Tell me in the comments if you agree, disagree. Tell me what is your top 10. Um, and if there's someone I missed, because I'm sure I missed someone. There's so much wrestling. Probably some independence ones I also missed. I know. I think Oku from England, very much viable star here coming up. There's a few others that are coming up, but let me know in the comments. And also remember, to be grateful for everything you have. Be grateful for the problems you don't have, because it could always be much, much worse. I've been Lobo, and this was Joker's Wild Side review. See ya.